The Oblivion Remaster is now official, and we are going to hear and see a lot more about it today. We have some information here on player engagement numbers that we will go over. What new games have dropped into the top 10 for player engagements? Persona 4 Remake. Is it going to be here soon? Is there some more speculation about that? A new Mario game coming from Nintendo. Is that happening? We didn't see it at the Nintendo Directs, but it looks like there will be a new one that is going to be made. In PlayStation 5s, they like to be rented. So we'll talk about all of that. But before we do continue, if you enjoy daily gaming news content every day at 8 a.m., make sure to hit the subscribe, share the video, like the video. And for now, let's jump into it. So we talked about this on yesterday's 8 a.m. morning show, that yesterday was going to be the day that we potentially get to actually play the Oblivion Remaster. It was the day that was rumored that the shadow drop was going to happen. Now, that didn't happen, but basically we got something almost as good here, because I think this game is going to be out very, very soon. We got the confirmation and the announcement that they are going to be showing off the Oblivion Remastered today, and we're gonna get everything that we need to know about it, seeing the gameplay improvements, seeing the upgraded graphics. Obviously, we're gonna get all of the information on the additions of the game, the pricing, and when the game is going to be coming out. I feel like from all the rumors that have been happening, it is going to be a shadow drop, whether it is something that comes out today or something that is just dropped within this week or something. That's what I'm thinking, but who knows? Maybe this is just the beginning and they've changed their plans and they're going to kick off a huge marketing campaign after they do show it off. But here was the announcement that was put out. You can see here, it just says 4, and then it has an Oblivion picture behind it. It says tomorrow, 04/22/25 at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So maybe by the time you're watching this video, it could have already happened and a lot more information has been revealed about it. But they do say here the reveal will take place on Bethesda's YouTube and Twitch channels. And given previous reports, it's also possible that the reveal will announce that the game is being released on the same day. That's what everybody has been saying. Shadow drop for this game. So the fact that they are doing this kind of announcement thing here, they don't say the name of this game, so technically it could still be a shadow drop, but everyone knows this is the Oblivion Remaster. They say here that the Oblivion Elder Scrolls 4 Remaster is reportedly a complete visual remake of the game and will include gameplay updates, and a time presentation titled All Will Be Revealed is currently on Bethesda's YouTube channels. From everything we have seen, it does look phenomenal. The graphic upgrades from the screenshots and then some of the gameplay improvements that they have talked about that we've seen in the leaks sounds like it's going to make this game a lot better to play. They do say, according to details leaked, that it is coming to Game Pass as well. There's still questions on that because I guess they haven't officially said it, but I mean, you just look at it being a first-party game, there's no way that Xbox isn't going to launch this day one into Xbox Game Pass. So if you have that service, let's say they shadow drop it today, you're literally going to be able to jump in and play it instantly, which is just a very exciting time. You take a look at the next couple of weeks with the Oblivion Remaster. Let's say this comes out this week. Then you have Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, and then you have Doom the Dark Ages over the next few weeks. 3 massive day one games into the service. It is insane the value that Game Pass is giving gamers right now. And you look at it from the first party Xbox perspective, the output that they have right now in 2025 is insane. It's incredible because you compare it to the other big companies, Nintendo and PlayStation. As of right now, it's not even close who's outputting more games and who is outputting a ton of content for people to jump in and play. So Oblivion Remastered, we will talk about everything that's shown off today in tomorrow's video, so stay tuned for that. But I'm very excited for this. I mean, I have my 360 version of the game and everything, so it's going to be cool to see just how much they improve it. And they're calling it a remaster, but it's kind of like, to me, it looks like a remake. I know it isn't, but that's because they're calling it a remaster. But the file size itself is massive. So there is a lot that they are putting into this game itself. It's not just going to be a slight upgrade. It's going to be a complete overhaul, I think, of a lot of things. And you kind of get that simply from the file size. As of right now, from what we are seeing in these leaks, that the file size is just over 120 gigabytes, and that is the PC file size. I'm sure it'll be similar size on the Xbox Series X and S as well, and the PlayStation 5 and everything. But that is a huge file, and I think the original game was like 7 gigabytes or something along those lines. So there is a lot that is being put into this game. Unreal Engine 5, I believe, is what they are making it with. So that obviously leads to a lot more data that is utilized when developing the game. So lots to look forward to here. They're calling it a remaster. It looks like a remake. There's new gameplay features in it, but I guess because the core, the story, and everything is going to stay the same, it is still categorized under the remaster. It's always those two terms conflicting with each other. What's remaster, what's remake, or whatever it is. I guess remake would be right. Everything from the ground up is being remade, which I don't believe that is the case for the Oblivion game, but it does look like there are going to be some massive improvements. The next huge game after this from Xbox first party is Doom, The Dark Ages. They already started the marketing campaigns. They've put out collectibles and made an appearance at WrestleMania 41. And with that appearance, there was a brand new gameplay story trailer, which just has a lot of people more excited for this game than they originally were when we first did end up seeing it. It says here that the new story trailer has released for Doom: The Dark Ages, giving more background story into what the game entails. And the new trailer was released by Bethesda Softworks YouTube. And this is what we know. It says, developed by id Software, Doom: The Dark Ages is this prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal that sells an epic cinematic story worthy of the Doomslayer's legend. In this third installment of the modern Doom series, players will step into the bloodstained boots of the Doomslayer in this never-before-seen dark and sinister medieval war against hell. And then that's what the description of the story trailer does say. I mean, I would highly recommend going to watch this thing. It's about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. You get to see more gameplay. You get to see more characters that are in it and everything. It looks very, very good. May 15th is literally just around the corner. So we're going to be jumping into Doom: The Dark Ages very soon. And having to choose our time, especially if you're on Game Pass, because you have Oblivion Remaster, you have Clay Obscure Expedition 33, you have games that are so big that I'm still playing, like Assassin's Creed Shadows and Monster Hunter Wilds, and then you're getting Doom. You also have South of Midnight, which just came out, and you're wondering how big has South of Midnight been? Are people on Xbox playing it? It looks like they are. It looks like this game is doing pretty good from the player engagement perspective, as Matt Piscatella has put out his Circana's player engagement tracker, top 15 titles by total weekly active users. And we go here, and you can see here are the PlayStation top 15 games and the Xbox top 15 games. And obviously Call of Duty is on top for both. Fortnite up there as well, because these are the games that people just continuously play and they're always on top of the charts. But for the Xbox side of things, I think Xbox will be happy to see this. South of Midnight is up here now at number 9 in terms of player engagement on Xbox in the US, at least. So for Compulsion, for South of Midnight, I'm sure they're pretty happy with that, seeing that people are jumping in and playing it and checking it out on Xbox Game Pass. The game has come out to pretty decent reviews. There are people that just don't like the gameplay of it, but say everything else is great. And then there's other people that think the entire package is good. So if you've played it, let me know. It's another one that I got to jump into in my backlog. Definitely one that's on my radar. But again, you think about everything coming out. It's hard for these smaller games, these, I would say, less popular IPs, especially if they're new IPs, to compete when you have such big titles like Doom coming out. And then you have, again, an Oblivion Remaster, which is going to pull a lot of people's attention. All right, we see a lot of talk about renting games and how subscription services are renting games and that you should go out and buy your games to support developers, which I think is kind of a stupid argument overall when you look at the subscription services, Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, and the amount of money you're saving as a consumer, and you're getting games day one in Game Pass. The value is just insane. So I think it's something you pretty much can't ignore if you're looking to play a bunch of games and just explore the gaming industry. But now we don't really hear too much about renting consoles, and it looks like renting PlayStation 5s is actually proving to be very, very popular, at least in Japan. They say here, with most stores selling out of renting the PlayStation 5. And you can go and rent this thing for around $6 a week. It says here the Japanese retailer Geo has told IT Media News that the service, which the company began earlier this year, has been more popular than they expected. And they originally launched it because of limited availability of the PlayStation 5. Service here is provided by 400 stores across Japan and lets players rent a PS5 console for 8 days or 15 days. So for $6 for the week or $12 for 15 days. And specifically with huge games like Monster Hunter Wilds, which is obviously massive in Japan, this thing has been doing very well. People have been going out there and renting PlayStation 5s and then using it to play whatever game they do want to play. It's an interesting premise right now in 2025. And I think one of the reasons why renting consoles don't really work anymore, as at least I didn't think it would work anymore, is simply because games are so massive. I remember back in the day where I would go and rent the PS1 or the N64 or whatever consoles were out during those generations. I would be able to rent those for a week, for a weekend or whatever, and you would be able to actually play through some games simply because the games were far shorter. There weren't as the scope of them wasn't nearly as big. But even in a week, for a lot of people, unless it's like the only thing that they're doing is playing that singular game, if it's a big open world game, it's almost impossible to get through and experience the entire thing. You could do some smaller games, but I feel like renting these consoles at this point right now is just isn't something that would be feasible. But obviously here with in Japan, it is something that people are taking on to. And even a game you think about Monster Hunter Wilds, I don't know how you would rent a PlayStation 5 and then not want to just continuously rent it or eventually buy it, because that's a game that you're going to be playing for such a long time. As somebody who's playing it myself right now, there's just so much to do and it doesn't really end. So it's very interesting to see that renting is still popular in Japan, and games like Monster Hunter Wilds have fueled this in terms of people going out there renting a PlayStation 5. All right, Persona 4 Remake. We could be getting this, and I would not be surprised whatsoever. The Persona 2 remake was very good for Atlas. It was a game that launched day one to Game Pass. It did very, very well in sales. I think it broke records and everything. And now it looks like there's more speculation here about the Persona 4 remake because of the website getting updated. We have this here that late last month, fans discovered the website with the domain name p4re.jp. It had been registered, and then it also had been revealed that the domain p3re.jp had also been registered. But now, about a month after the Persona 4 remake domain had been registered, it's been noticed that the website was updated on April 21st. So there's no information, they say here, as to what was updated, and it's clear that it is an inactive domain. But Insider Gaming has heard internally that the game is named XRD792. This game, I would not be shocked at all if it comes out. I wouldn't be shocked if they do Persona 3 remake, Persona 4 remake, and they do just a big announcement saying both of these games are in the works because of how good the Persona 2 remake did. Persona has grown so much. It is far more global now than it used to be. It is now on every platform. It is now on Xbox. So I absolutely can see them doing this. The question would be, will they make more deals for these games with Game Pass? I think that is a huge thing people would be wondering, because they made that deal with the Persona 2 remake. It did very well from them. It sold very well. All statistics have pointed to this has been a great thing for them. And Persona not being on Xbox for such a long time, you put it into Game Pass, it will open up people to discover a series they've probably never played before if they were always been playing their games on Xbox. So that will be interesting to see, but I would not be surprised at all if something like Summer Game Fest or something, we get the Persona 4, Persona 3 remake announcements, and we get our first looks as to exactly how they are going to be done. And finally, with the Nintendo Switch 2, a lot of people were expecting the sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. We didn't get that, but a new 3D Mario should be in the works. And I mean, the game that we are getting from the 3D platform perspective is the new Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I think looks phenomenal. I'm very excited for that as a big Donkey Kong fan. But we do have some information here from Doug Bowser, the Nintendo of America president, saying that a new Mario on the Switch 2 is coming. Stay tuned for it, which not surprising, but I wonder how far out after the release of the Switch 2 we will get this. This is an interview with CNN, and Doug Bowser was asked about the lack of a main 3D or 2D Mario game confirmed for the Switch 2. Here is what he says. He just says, stay tuned. You know, we have a long catalog and a long list of intellectual property that I'm sure will make its way to the platform. So the questions people will have is the next 3D Mario, the next 2D Mario, the next Zelda game. When are those coming over? Will we ever get like a new F-Zero or something? There's so many IPs that Nintendo has that they could easily bring back, plus all the ones that they are currently making. It took us very long to get a new Metroid Prime game, which we are finally getting Metroid Prime 4, and I can't wait for that. But the Switch 2 is shaping up to be a good console for the types and the amount of games that we are going to be getting, because you're getting all the first party Nintendo stuff. You're getting now all of the third party stuff. You're probably going to be getting some Xbox stuff on there. The big question here is how bad will the prices be for a lot of these games? It does seem like the $80 price tag is probably going to be for mainly first party Nintendo games. Like the next Zelda is probably going to be $80, but I would be shocked if you start seeing a bunch of third parties putting all of their games at $80, because as of right now, from the original listings that have come out for Nintendo Switch 2 in terms of the games, if you go onto the websites to pre-order them, there is just different pricing across the board depending on what game it is, and I think we will be seeing a lot of that as we move into the launch of the Switch 2. But on the video there, if you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.